So it's saying, is pleasure love? Right? Please find out for yourself. Ask that question. Is pleasure love? Is desire love? Is possession love? Is the desire for power love? So we're asking, desire, pleasure, is it the nature of love? And if it is not, why have we made pleasure more dominant than love? And to understand love, please do go into this with the speaker, because this is very important in our life. Because we have no love. We know what attachment is. We know what to possess or being possessed, and the pleasures of that. We all know what it means to have sex and the pleasures of sex, the imaginations, the pictures, the thought involved in that act. All pleasure. All that we are asking, is that love? And we use that word love so easily. I love my country, I love my books, I love what I'm eating. I love my wife or my girl. So, one has to go into this question very deeply to see and discover for oneself what love is. Without that, you have wasted your life. You are just zombies or just human beings uttering a lot of words, living a useless life, confused, miserable, suffering. So you can only understand that which is love when there is the understanding, not verbal, not intellectual, but the depth of the meaning of pleasure. There is pleasure, there is enjoyment, and there is joy. You understand? There is pleasure and the enjoyment of a morning when the sun is out, early morning, when the birds are singing, the light on the mountains, on the leaf, and the color. That's a great delight, great enjoyment. But when thought comes into it and says, what a lovely morning it is. I wish I could have such mornings every day. Or the remembrance of such a morning and the pleasure of that morning remembered is pleasure, isn't it? You're following what I'm saying? You all look so surprised. What's the problem? Look, you have an experience, a a pleasurable experience, an experience which is delightful, happy, joyous. And you don't end it there. Thought comes and says, let's have it again. Let's repeat it, which is the pursuit of pleasure. That which was delightful, enjoyable, has become instantly a pleasurable thing through the movement of thought. You get it? You understand this? So, there is pleasure, there is enjoyment, there is joy. Joy you can never invite. It comes. Happy, an extraordinary, harmonious, marvelous state. And you don't end it there. Thought says, I must have it again. The desire to have it again is the pursuit of pleasure, not the actual experience. So that these factors in pleasure, that which thought pursues as pleasure, the enjoyment independent of pleasure, the delight, the beauty of something. Talking of beauty, would it be right to talk about a little bit here? What is beauty? You know, when you see something extraordinarily beautiful, the mountain, the deep valley's shadow, a sheet of water. When you see this marvelous, intense things, at that moment, at that second, you are not. You with your problems, with your idiocies, with your absurdities, all that's gone. You're not there. Because the magnitude and the dignity of the glory of a mountain is so enormous it drives you away. And which means there is beauty only when you are not. Got it? Oh my God. So we are saying pleasure, enjoyment, and joy. And to put all this in their right place is the art of living. But our consciousness, which is our daily life, is so confused, so contradictory. And we are saying, unless you understand very deeply pleasure, enjoyment, and joy, which goes into great ecstasy, unless there is order in your consciousness, you cannot possibly meditate. And that what we are doing now is to live a way of life which is meditative, not meditate and lead a stupid, mischievous, violent life. So, if pleasure, desire is not love, if jealousy is not love, if attachment is not love, if being possessed or to possess is not love, and as most human beings live with the pleasures of possession, then what is the relationship between pleasure and love? What is the relationship between attachment? You know what attachment is? How it comes into being? And love. What is attachment? My country, my God, my belief, my wife, my husband. The dependence on another. Whether it is the guru, and I hope none of you have gurus. Then you are depending on somebody who thinks he knows. When somebody says, I know, beware of that person. So, to understand what is the relationship between pleasure and love, you must understand what is relationship between human beings. Right? What is the relationship between human beings actually? Have they any relationship at all? Or is only relationship of reactions a sense of dependency, sexual and all the rest of it? When you say I'm related to my wife or to my girlfriend or boyfriend, what does it mean? Go into it, for God's sake, because it's your life. What does it actually mean? Are you really related, or merely the idea, the thought of being related? You follow what I'm saying? Huh? If it is the thought of being related, that relationship is based on remembrance. Remembrance of hurts, remembrance of sexual pleasures, remembrance of dependence, and so on. So, your relationship is based on a remembrance of things past. And to that relationship we are whole. So, she has a remembrance of things past, and you have a remembrance of things past. So, you never meet. You are understanding all this? Are you understanding all this? Perhaps you meet in bed, but actually you never meet. which is, as long as your relationship is based on remembrance of things of the past, then you are not related. You may call it love. It's a dead thing. And that's why there is such conflict between man and woman. That's right. So listen to it, not what to do about it. If you listen, as we said, the art of listening, to be sensitive, to be alert, to be watchful. Now, if you are doing that now, the art of listening, you will see, you will put thought in its right place. Then you will have an actual relationship with another. Therefore, never conflict with another.